Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this series we're going to start doing labs for AZ500X Azure security technologies. What the X means, it's a new updated version for the Azure security examination, and all of the labs, they're redesigned and they're all available from the Github, and I'll give you this link in the video if you want to take a look at it. So in this lab is all about role-based access control, and for all of these labs there is a scenario. It's a scenario based, so you get kind of a real life feel. So what is the scenario? So you have been asked to create a proof of concept showing Azure users and groups are created, how they are created. You have to prove that, and how the role-based access control is used when you are using Azure for your identity access management. So here we're going to create a senior admin group, and we're going to create a particular person as the member. We're going to create a junior admin group, and we're going to add this particular user as a member, like whole bunch of groups. And then we'll create a service desk group, and finally we're going to assign a virtual machine contributor role to one of the groups. Now East US is my favorite locations, and they're using the same location for the lab, so that's great. So lab objectives, 4 different objectives, they kind of map to these 4 aspects of the lab that we have here. So let's get started. Create the senior admin group with the user account Joseph Priest as the members. How do you do that? So let's just go to our portal. Let's go to the portal and give me a second. Right, we are logged into the account, and we have in our environment. So let's get back to the lab. So in the first section, we're going to create the senior admin group with the user account Joseph Price. So what you need to do, search resources and go to your Active Directory, and from the Active Directory you create the new user. So let's just go to our Active Directory. Excuse me. And when you have over here, you can just go to your users blade, and from the users blade you can create a new user. Okay, let's come back over here, and all you need is the username and the name. So let's get to that. Username and name is Joseph Price. And if you look at it, those are the only 2 that are required parameters. And let's see if it's asking for anything else. Ensure the auto generate password is selected. Select show password. So over here, show password and get the password. Copy it, put it in some form of document so you can use it later, and click create. So that will create that user for you. So create. So we haven't assigned anything, no roles, nothing like that. It just says it's a user account, and we have assigned that. Okay, use the Azure portal to create senior admin group. Now next time we're going to go to the groups. So you have looked at how we created our users. Now let's go to group and create a new group. And in this new group, you're going to create a security group for security admin, and it's going to be an assigned group for us. So let's come back over here. A security group name is senior admins, and group description, let's see if we need a description. We don't need. So membership type is assigned. So let's come back over here. Membership type is assigned, is already selected, so we're all good. So let's create the group as per our requirements. So that's done. What else? No owner selected. Add owners blade, select Joseph Price. Okay, so we missed that step. So all you need to do is let's just go back to the group, and in here let's see if I have any owners. There's 0 owners to this group. So owners. See here, let's add the owner. Add the owner and select Joseph Price. So Joseph Price is gonna be the owner of this group, and say OK, and that's added Joseph Price as the owner of that particular group. Okay, and so next, come over here, create a junior admin group. So this time what we're gonna do, we're gonna use our PowerShell command to do our job. Okay, so to run this in a PowerShell, it's really easy. So you come over here, you click on this button to open up your PowerShell window, and once this is up, we're going to run some commands. Okay, and I'm going into the bash CLI, so I want the PowerShell, so let's move that to PowerShell environment. So once it's up, what we're going to do, we're going to run this command. So it's gonna, what it's going to do, it's going to create a new object, type name Microsoft Open Azure Model Password Profile. So it's going to create a password profile, and then in that password profile we're going to say we're going to assign the password, and then we are actually going to do that from our Cloud Shell. I don't know if I need this command. We might be able to just go through without running this. This is trying to connect to the Azure AD. This might be required, so we'll see once we get to that point. So let's come over here, let's paste the command. So it's going to create that password profile for us. So the next is assign the password to that particular password profile. So let's run that. So next it's telling us to just to connect to Azure AD. So let's try that. I don't need this required. Maybe it's required. It didn't give me any trouble. So that's done. So once this is done, what we're gonna do, we're run the following to identify the name of your Azure tenant. So this is gonna figure out the name of my tenant, get Azure AD tenant detail, verified domain dot name, and then we're gonna create the new Azure AD user display name. So Isabel Gabriela, and we're gonna assign the password profile to that particular user. So that's pretty reasonable. So over here we're just gonna run this command, and the domain portion of the is invalid. So let's see what. Okay, Isabella domain name is saying that it's not valid. Password profile. So did we miss something in here? Let's go back over here. Yeah, we didn't do this. So we need to store the domain name in a variable before we can run this command. So let's come back over here, let's go up. We did the domain name, right? So let's echo I have the echo domain name, so this is actually worked just fine. So what's wrong with it? So let's look at the command one more time. New Azure user, password profile, Isabel at domain name. Maybe I don't need this. Then hit enter. There we go. So what was happening, since in that command everything was under quotation, this variable was not properly evaluated, and so that's a problem, that's a mistake probably within this document right now. So somebody at some point is going to fix it. Okay, this line is not proper. Alright, so once this user is done, we can run this particular command to get the details of the user, get AD user. So it's Azure AD user, so it's giving you all the users that we have created so far. This is myself as the original user. Then we created Joseph Price in the last lab section, and now with with the Azure with the PowerShell, we created the Isabella user. Okay, so we are done up to this point. Now use PowerShell to create the junior admin group. So similar to that, we can run and create the junior admin group from here. So let's make sure it's just new Azure AD group, just like new Azure AD user. That's the command. That's the name of that group. Mail 11 enabled false, security enabled true. So it's going to be a security group, and nickname is going to be junior admins. That's pretty understandable. So we got that, and then if we run this command over here to get all the Azure AD group, it should list at least 2 groups that we created, junior admins and the senior admins. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to assign a reference of the user account of user Gabriela. So let's get the details for user Gabriela and store it in the user variable. So once we have that, we can add Isabella to that junior admin group by running this command. So add AZ user group member. So that's you're adding a member. Who you're adding the user. Which user is the Isabella user. Which target group? It's the junior admins group. So hit enter, it should add. So that's all done. In the PowerShell session with the Cloud Shell plan, run the following to verify the junior admin group contains the user account. So let's run this one as well, just to verify that what we did makes sense. So there we go. We have this Isabel Garcia, the user. Sorry, I'm probably not saying the name right. Now for the third exercise, we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to use the CLI environment instead of the PowerShell. So let's go back and change it to a CLI environment. Okay, and this time we're gonna it's gonna be the same, very similar process, just a little bit of tiny tweak in our command. So here again we are getting the domain name as AZAD signed in user show query user principal name cut D at F2 set. So you probably don't need to worry about all of that. So kind of, if you know Linux, you know these are all the formatting command, and ACD is another text formatting command where it's looking for few things and then getting the domain name for our AD account. Okay, so once that's done, again we're going to create a AZ user. Okay, it should be pretty similar to the other command that we have. Display name is this, and user principal name this, and then you're passing the domain name as the parameter, as a variable. So we got that, and then now if you run this AZ add user list, it should list all of the users. Okay, and there we go. So we have all the users, and let's come back over here. Now use to service this group. So again we're going to use a CLI to create a group, and it's going to be AD group create, and that should create a group for us. And then we can also do AD group list O table. O means output in table format, so let's do that as well. So it should show me the group, the service day group that we just created. So that's also good. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the details of that particular user. And once I have the details, we are gonna assign that user. Well, first let's just look at that user. That's what it's doing. So it's paste. So it's now getting that user a particular details and the object, and storing it to the object ID. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the object ID, and then we'll assign to this particular group by running this particular command. Okay, so what is the command? AZAD group member add group service desk and member ID, and then you're passing the member ID. So over here at last we just look at the list, and you should see everything in here. Okay, AZ add group list member list group service desk. Okay, so we have all that. What did it do? Run the following list members of the service group and verify that it includes the user account dial-in. So let's make sure dial-in is right there. So we're all in a good shape. Last is what we're gonna do: assign the virtual machine contributor role to the service desk group. All right. So in this one, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a resource group. And I'm going to create this particular resource group. Okay, so come back over here, resource groups, add, and then we're going to say that's the resource group. Okay, so and then we'll just say review, create, and create. Let's go to resource group. Okay, assign the service desk virtual contributor. So from that resource group, we're gonna go to the access control. So this time we're gonna be very specific. So go to access control and we're gonna assign this role and click on role assignment. It's gonna open up the new window, and in this window we're gonna select the virtual machine contributor. Okay, role, and I'm going to search for virtual machine contributor. So this is the one that we need to select, and then assign to AD user group, and then we're going to select the service desk. Okay, so what do I need to set? We're going to select service desk. So that group is going to have this particular role assigned to it. So anybody as part of the group will be a virtual machine contributor. So let's come over here, and then say from now what we want to do, we want to search for the dial-in Williams. Okay, AZ lab 1 or access tab. So let's go over here. Access control. I think you're probably looking for this. Look for dial-in Williams. Okay, look. We have this particular user. We found him. What is he asking in the list? And on the blade, view the newly create assignments. So you can select that user now, and if you select the user, you can look at the role assignment, and you can see that this particular user has been assigned the virtual machine contributor role. Okay, so that's pretty much all that we need to do. We can repeat the same last two steps to check access for Joseph Price. So you can check that one, and let's come back over here. We can look for Joseph Price, and let's see if Joseph Price is there. So there is no assignment for the Joseph Price right now. So we have not assigned anything for Mr. Joseph Price. Alright, at this time you can clean up all the resources that we have created, and to do that we're just going to run the remove AZ resource group command. It's if you have been following my videos, it's pretty standard. So just run. What it's going to do, remove the AZ resource group, the resource group that we created, and it's going to run it as a background job. And the command not found, because we are trying to run a PowerShell command in a CLI environment. So let's change back to your PowerShell if you want to really run the command. And once we run the command, we can end that lab. Okay, so while it's doing, you can quickly go to the Azure Active Directory. It's probably not gonna remove any of the users. So for the users, we have now myself and 3 other users that we created, and you can also go to the groups, and we created 3 groups, and under the service desk, and we have assigned only 1 user to the service desk. Okay, so that's all we have for this lab. There's nothing too special or critical about this lab. Hopefully you have all got this clear, no problem whatsoever. If you're preparing for the exam 500, good luck. If you like the videos and want to leave some comments for me, please do so. Have a good day.